What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, today you guys are in for a treat. We got our hands on a Gigabyte Eagle RX6600. Now, we have dabbled with the Sapphire Pulse 6600 as well as the PowerColor Hellhound 6600, and I'm excited to get my hands on a 3-fan Gigabyte Eagle. So this card did come in a combo deal. It was the Gigabyte Eagle RX6600 with a Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. It only has 3 PCI slots on it, but we'll find a use for it regardless. So talking about this Eagle here, I'm excited. It's got 3 fans on it, so it's definitely going to be a little change of pace here. A little bit bigger of a card. So I'm curious, before we get into this, will it use more watts? Is it going to perform better than the other RX6600s that we have? I'm not really sure, but what I do know is I love the RX6600s, and I cannot wait to get my hands on a few more to finally do a full 6 GPU rig. But let's go ahead and get this on our test bench and see if we can answer some of those questions. Okay, so we do have the Gigabyte Eagle RX6600 in our test bench currently right now. Just an HP motherboard test bench, nothing too crazy. But let's take a look. So our overclock settings, these I have found have been very good on the 6600 series, which is 900 core, 620 core voltage, 620 memory controller voltage, 950 memory clock, and finally 1100 memory voltage. And of course, we always like to run our test GPUs on these benches at 100%. So keeping that in mind, we're right around that 28.96. You know, we fluctuated a tiny bit here and there, but nothing too crazy. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're seeing at the wall for this card. I want to mention that because take a look here in HIVEOS. It's saying we're using 45 watts, which do not base any of your profitability on HIVEOS metrics, especially when it comes down to your watts. It is not accurate. Definitely get yourself a voltage meter. If you need to find one, your recommendation for one, I'll put a link down below to the kilowatt meter that I use. So this card I have found at the wall, we're using 97, give or take, watts. So our test bench uses at idle 20 watts. So we need to take our 97 minus 20 is still putting this card at 77 watts, which is much higher than the other 6600 that we saw there with the PowerColor as well as the Sapphire Pulse. If we take a look at one of my previous videos where I actually went and compared the Sapphire Pulse and the PowerColor, they're right around the same spot here of about that 28.9 to 28.88, but the biggest difference here was our watts. This Eagle by Gigabyte is using almost 20 watts more at the wall than these other cards. Is that because it's a 3-fan, or is that because it is not as efficient? You know, what is it? But based off my previous cards that I have, this card does not perform as well. If we jump over to what to mine, and we go over in Ethereum here, and we put in 28.96, and we put in our 77 watts at a cost of 10 cents, and we go ahead and hit calculate, this card is only making $1.84 per day due to the power situation. On our other 6600s, they're at $2.31 per day. Now, granted, this was back on the beginning of the month on November 5th when I did my previous video, but that wattage difference is pretty dang high. If we go ahead and put in our hardware cost, $533.44, because that was the cost for the card and also for the motherboard that came with it, which was the Gigabyte B450M, and we hit calculate, this still has a break-even day of 290 days, which is much longer than I originally anticipated. I'll be honest with you, I did not anticipating at all that this card would not perform as well as the other 6600s. Okay, so we have our 3 RX 6600s, and I'm not gonna lie, let's be frank, I'm disappointed with the Gigabyte Eagle RX 6600. The fact that it uses 20 more watts really starts to jump into the amount of profitability that is available with this card. Now granted, I am very fortunate to get my hands on a graphics card. I know a lot of people struggle to get their hands on their cards of choice, but I'm really pleased overall with the 6600 series. The PowerColor Hellhound is significantly better by just a tiny bit when it comes to the watts. The hash rate is about the same, but it gets 56.7 watts at the wall, 20 watts less than the Gigabyte. The Sapphire Pulse gets a little bit better hash rate than the other two, and also is at 56.7 watts. So to know that the Sapphire Pulse and Hellhound sit right about that 56.7 watt mark, and the fact that the Gigabyte is 20 watts more, it makes me a little reluctant to buy another one of these if I do go ahead and have that avenue. The additional watts, as much as it's only 20 watts though, it does add up, as we saw in the video, with not only our break even, but also our profitability per day. So guys, that's gonna go ahead and do it for me. I can't wait to get my hands on 3 more 6600s and get ourselves a sweet 6600 rig. If you guys enjoyed this short video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Take care.